We've got updates from Rúben Amorim's press conference ahead of the Manchester United versus Brighton game. Also, we want to touch on AMAD's comments in a recent interview talking about his growing chemistry with Bryan Mbeumo. As usual, get involved with your opinions in that comment section and smash that like button for the 3 points on Saturday. How are you feeling today? And most importantly, what did you take from Rúben Amorim's press conference?
Well, I took from his press conference, everything's changed with that media. For a change, it was all about the team. How are you feeling? How are the players feeling? Nothing combative from the media. Try to flag United down and put Rúben Amorim in a corner. He was nice and relaxed. So it just shows you a couple of wins and everything changes.
We have got some updates, like he's saying. I have to start with it first. It's an injury concern to Maguire and Mason Mount. And Amorim gave us the updates and he said, we have some doubts, some issues during the week with Maguire and Mount. Knocks, but nothing serious, but we will see tomorrow. So, yeah, to me, they're looking like they're injury doubts, I think, to start anyway against Brighton.
Yeah, it sounded as though it was like just doubts, little niggles or something, nothing serious. And when you look at Mason Mount, that's the last thing you want for Mason Mount. So hopefully he can make the bench. He might even start. My opinion is he won't start. But, hey, we'll see. Harry Maguire, you know, he's getting a little bit old. He did mention it, but a little doubt for Harry. Be a shame if he didn't get on the pitch after that performance against Liverpool. But if there is a doubt, put him on the bench. We've got people to come in.
He was asked in the press conference as well of how important Maguire is to this system. And he said he's really happy with Harry. He's a really important player for us. It was good for him to play with 3 centre-backs. Sometimes the way you play also helps players. He is not a young player, but he can still learn a lot. He needs to be better with the ball.
Well, Harry Maguire playing in the system there, playing is very comfortable, he says. Well, we know that as soon as Harry Maguire is forced or wants to go missing by going up front, leaves himself wide open. It seems as though that low block, especially against Liverpool, what he played, absolutely suits him. You go back to his England career, how he thrived in that and how he was vital for England. It's because he stayed there with all the other centre-backs. So comfortable, he's got a role. That's what I like him at. But can he play 2-3 games in a fortnight? I very much doubt it.
Got to go back to Maguire shortly, but just on Martínez as well, he was asked about how close he is to a return with the rest of the squad, and he said he's trained really well, but not with us as a group. He's been training on the next pitch. He's getting closer to training with the team though, so not too far off. Hopefully we start looking maybe after the international break, do you think?
Well, did he mention a date? Was he asked a date?
I don't think he was asked a date, but for me personally, you know, you've seen him quite a bit, you know, recently doing individual training at Carrington. So I've seen some recent reports, actually, to be fair, this week about Martínez, but I would like to be hopeful that we will actually see him in a squad more so after that international break, because we've got a run of games as well coming up, haven't we? Yeah. Thick and fast at the, December.
Yeah, I think we've been teased with Lisandro Martínez. Last week, he was talked towards the end of the week that he was coming back to train as though he was going to train with the squad. But it looks as though he's away on a different pitch. I don't think there's ball being used at his feet. I think it's all about fitness and everything. And you go back to that injury and that straight away they came out with a date of return and it looked like November. So you're looking at him now. It's not even with the team. So you've got to say international break in a few weeks. Will he get there? Will he be ready in December? And I think that's his return date, because Rúben Amorim's not given a return date, and I think it's very difficult and very risky, to be honest with you. And looking at Lisandro Martínez, he could be the difference from Christmas going into that new year in this squad.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to take any chances or rush him back, Martínez, especially the type of injury he suffered. And you've just got to hope, like, that De Ligt, Maguire himself, when match fit, you've got Euro there, you've got Shaw, you've got Mazraoui who can play in them positions, that they all step up and put in the performances that we desperately need as well. So it'll all bring about competition for places, and let's hope Martínez is back soon. I promised Harry Maguire again, and he was asked about, is there a new contract being discussed with Harry Maguire? He said, this isn't the time to talk about his contract. Let's focus on the next game.
Well, quite right. Let's focus on the next game. We shouldn't be concentrating on Harry Maguire with his contract. It keeps coming up. People want to use it as like try and create news and everything else like that, and the sort of distract from what really Rúben Amorim's got to get on with. Other people will be dealing with that. So if it comes up, it's a non-footballing issue, and we'll probably know round about December what's happening with Harry Maguire, because in January he can look around for another club if that's the case. So for now, just totally ignore any contract talk, and that's what he's doing, and that's what he's telling everybody. So for me, Harry Maguire, yeah, contract talks will come up, but let's wait and see.
A lot of he's getting involved in the live chat already, saying who you want to come in to replace Maguire if he doesn't make that starting 11. The name I keep seeing is Yoro. A lot of people already mentioning Benjamin Sesko must start as well. Positivity with Manchester United as well. People giving the score predictions. If you are joining us later on, please get it in the comment section below on your score predictions as well. And he was actually asked in the press conference as well about the media narrative and the pressure, and how does he handle that, you know, pressure from the outside. He says, if you are the manager and you don't win, people will doubt you. We need to be clear on our path. Now, 2 wins in 2, that's a clear path for me. Let's go and make it 3 and 3.
Well, as I said at the start, you know, there is no pressure when you're winning games. Everything's hunky-dory. The press don't come at you. And I did say that everything just seemed calm today, a proper normal press conference with like half-decent questions to Rúben Amorim, no one going at him. Listen, you keep winning games, that's it. But he did reiterate, we beat Liverpool, but that's in the past. And looking at the Brighton game, he did speak quite a bit about it. He understands who they are, and we're fully ready. And quite right, he should be fully ready, in my opinion. If you look at the times we've played Brighton and we've been beat by them 6 out of the last 7 games. If anyone doesn't understand how Brighton play and how they're going to set up, then there's something wrong. So they have to be ready. And I listened to Maguire, listened to a few other players and the manager after the Liverpool game, said it before, they are ready. They were ready an hour after the Liverpool game. So very interesting times coming here tomorrow against Brighton. And me, for one, I think they will be ready. And listening to Rúben Amorim today, I think they're going to take them.
Like I mentioned earlier, with the knocks on Mason Mount and Maguire, do you think he will take that risk in assessing him tomorrow? And if they are match fit by putting him in that starting 11, I'm not too sure, especially on Mason Mount, especially with the actual injury troubles he's had here at Manchester United. Can we cope with the likes of Sesko up top, Cunha and Mbeumo? I certainly think so. But he did also go back to about this recent wins, like you've just mentioned, 2 in 2. Let's hope we make it 3 in 3, and what the details are behind him getting them wins. And he says, we have one identity, but we adapt to the kind of game we need to play. Against Liverpool, we scored early and managed the game differently because it was needed. And this is what we've asked for, haven't we? Many a time, about just adapting to the opposition and what points in the game it needs like something a bit different. But has he actually been doing that? And we've not noticed as fans, and it's just been down to individual poor performance or team performance.
I think when you lose a game, especially in the way you lost, we lost at Brentford, and the second half performance at Fulham, I think as a fan, when you're looking at things, you don't see it. We adapt and we change during the game. He says the Sunderland game and Liverpool game, he pointed that out. So as a fan, I think, yeah, you will miss it unless you actually study it, right? And you go to the stats and everything else like that, and you really like pour over the issue of the game. You will miss it, and we do miss things as a fan. And quite right, that's what we do. Fans do miss things, and I think they have changed, not just in the 2 games, in other games. So for me, he's getting it right and getting it right. We've just got 2 wins, and we're going into that game against Brighton, and he has to change against Brighton.
Are you happy? Are you looking forward to this game?
I am so looking forward.
Smile on that face, come on.
No, I'm so looking forward to it. He says we're ready. I'm ready for this. I just want a win. Listen, I won't be too disappointed with the draw, but getting a win would be great. It would just show how much work is being done in the background and everything, and that everyone's there. And when you talk about, like, is everyone ready? I think Lenny Yoro coming into the team, I think he's been very, very unlucky not to be in the starting 11. And it has surprised me, but it's worked. But Lenny Yoro, very unlucky not to be in there. But I think he'll be in there. I think maybe the Harry Maguire and Mason Mount, there's little doubts about him. I think that's a little game being played. I think Lenny Yoro was going to come in. But listen.
To be honest with you, I do actually think it was the right thing to do by putting Lenny Yoro on the bench. You look at the game here against Chelsea, the goal that they got from the corner, he went missing, he was asleep, Yoro, and the player come in and got his head on it. You look at the Manchester City game, as we all know, Bruno Fernandes come out after the game. I think it was a little bit too harsh, though, going public the way you did, Bruno, especially with the media narrative there and us losing in a derby, mentioning about Yoro not really stepping up into midfield when needed. And he also pinpointed a lack of communication between himself and Yoro for, I think it was Phil Foden's goal there. So I think it was needed, Yoro. And at the end of the day, you know, players have come in and they've stepped up, especially in the last couple of games. So, you know, let's bring the lad in now for Harry Maguire and let him take the place.
He's not bringing him in because he's been injured, Harry. And the same with Mason Mount. That's my opinion. Okay, Lenny Yoro has been unlucky not to get in the side. All players make mistakes, okay? But it just seems as though, like, the narrative out there has been against Lenny Yoro making certain mistakes, and it has been highlighted unfairly, in my opinion, because I thought the first few games and that he was really playing well. But for me, Lenny Yoro was a shoo-in coming tomorrow because Rúben Amorim always makes changes. And then you look at Sesko. I always thought Sesko was going to start. I might be proved wrong, but I do believe that Rúben Amorim is playing games like coaches do. The Brighton manager has already stated there's 3 doubts with players, and then they might get a chance. They're nearly there. They might be there. I think there's a game being played by both managers regarding injuries and people not able to play in the game tomorrow. So for me, on both sides, both managers are playing games with these injuries. They're throwing out the stories. I've seen it time and time again. So for me, there's going to be a change. No two ways about it. I might be proved wrong, but hey, that's life. Lenny Yoro is definitely coming in, and Sesko is definitely coming in for Mason Mount.
Well, we've got a weapon then to come off the bench. If Maguire is on the bench, maybe the last 10, 15 minutes, get him up front, get him in that box. Then you never know if we need goals. But I'm going to get on to Bruno Fernandes and what he discussed in his press conference shortly. But Paul Bailey says it's going to be 3-0 to Manchester United. He's firmly on that deluded train. Choo-choo. Patrick Shields, thanks for your super chat. He says Cunha and Mbeumo are bringing leadership to the dressing room. I think Cunha, definitely the way he handled that last 20 minutes at Anfield in demanding the ball and what he'd done with it in taking the pressure off his teammates as well. Different kind of leaderships, and that's the type of leadership you want to see as well. Players standing up tall and actually taking responsibility on the pitch, and I think he does that, Cunha.
Well, if you're on that deluded train with us, let me tell you, there's not many seats left, because when we win against Brighton, okay, the train will be full. Okay, we are not getting another train. Okay, but for me, I reckon, I tell you what, I look at it this way. I actually think United are going to go in to a 2-0 lead at half time, because I think United are ready. I listen to Amorim. I listen to the players. I think everyone's ready. And for me, Sesko is the main man tomorrow. You watch.
For Crantham, or Cranham, shall I say. I do normally get your name mixed up, don't I, mate? It's actually because I do know someone with a second name, Crantham. But he's gifted 5 memberships, so Fred the Red, the legend, it's much appreciated. The 5 people who've been gifted their membership, say a big thank you to Fred. And I did promise you to go on the bit about Bruno Fernandes in his press conference. Yes. And he was asked, how do you view Bruno Fernandes as a leader? He says he suffers a lot when we lose. He takes it personally. He wants responsibility all the time, and it comes from a good place.
Well, this is the thing we've been moaning about Bruno Fernandes. He takes it personally. Well, when he takes it personally, he forgets about the team. And I look at that Fulham game, and I highlighted it, that he came out in that second half, still going on about missing the penalty and moaning about the ref. He took it personally, and really, he should have forgot about it in the dressing room. Should have forgot about it as soon as he missed. He's the captain. But that's who we've got. That's what Bruno, that's his personality. So when he's losing, he takes it to heart. And when anything goes wrong, he takes it to heart. This is the criticism a lot of people have had about Bruno. He seems to want to take responsibility for everything. And when something goes wrong, he takes that responsibility and then takes his eye off the ball. But hey, that's Bruno. Where would we be without him, to be honest with you?
Yeah, just going to go back into the chat. Danny Wade, thanks for your super chat, my mate.
Thank you, my mate.
He says, what a difference a win makes to your week. I totally agree with that.
2 wins.
Yeah, and it's been scarce, let's face it, in Amorim's reign as manager. So when we have getting the wins, you've got to celebrate him just as a supporter. I mean, that's what you're there for, doing your bit before the game, during the game. But, 2 wins in 2 now. I mean, like I say, that deluded train, there's scarce seats on there.
Only a few seats left.
Yeah.
It's like, what
jump aboard, come on.
What does a win bring you? Well, we've highlighted this week, it's not only the wins what bring you, it's like how everybody has gone, wow, we've got a goalie. Yeah. I said it the other day. Wow, we've got a goalie. Wow, we've got an attack. Wow, we've got people willing to work. People are improving and everything. And it's just having that calmness at the back. And when we talked about Harry Maguire earlier on, he's more comfortable in that 3. And you've seen it there. He didn't panic at any stage in that Liverpool game. When they scored, when we went 2-1 up, Harry Maguire was still in there battling at the back, putting his head in, and I didn't see him put a foot wrong. Did not see him put a foot wrong. So this game, everyone has got every right to be confident, and I think this train tomorrow will be full up, and there'll be no more deluded train because we'll be on our way.
It'll be staying on the tracks as well, going into that Forest game the week after. Just going to go back to Amorim's press conference again. He was asked about, obviously, the Brighton match and how tough it will be against him. And he said it's going to be a very difficult game. They are really strong in transitions, build-up and set pieces. I am a huge fan of Hertzler, the manager. They are a complete team. We've mentioned yesterday, very confident in our match preview yesterday, but we didn't downplay in how tough this game will be.
Well, I heard their Brighton manager talking about him, and he wants to play with the 2 wingers what come through. They are fast. We've seen them come through the middle, and it will be an intense game. As Amorim said, he knows what they're all about, but it's coping with them. It's easier said than done. And will we be able to hold that midfield? Be tough. But listen, we've had 2 wins, we've had fight, everyone's there, everyone's calm, and everyone understands what they've got to do tomorrow. So fingers crossed it all works well. And as I said yesterday, if we come out with the draw at the end of it, it will not be a disaster going into the Forest and the Tottenham game. Yeah,
just going to go on to AMAD's comments that he done in a recent interview with MUTV. And he was talking about the growing chemistry between himself and Bryan Mbeumo. But when they're on the pitch, they both know, like, let's say, if Mbeumo drops into his wing-back position, AMAD then knows to go into that number 10 position. And it's all about fluidity, partnerships there. And it's something that we've highlighted for the last number of weeks now with these 2.
I think we've mentioned it quite a few times and highlighted it, that what you need in a team is partnerships. You won't win anything without partnerships. That's how you get your goals. That's how you get people looking and going, right, I'm backing them 2 up. I'm with them. They know what they're doing. And AMAD and Mbeumo, each game, it seems to be improving. And they brought him out, put him on MUTV. So it must be right. They see it. They know what's building. And now we just need other partnerships. But for AMAD, people were questioning AMAD, will he make it? And I'm not talking last year, the year before. I'm talking a few weeks ago, as though like his work rate's not right. But he puts in a tremendous amount of work rate going back. He's got it all there. And he is so dangerous with the ball at his feet. Players, when he runs at them, they're scared to tackle him. That's what you want. But Mbeumo runs off him. And AMAD runs off Mbeumo. You can see it with your own eyes. And it's good to watch, and it will only get better. I really, really think this is the improvement in Manchester United.
Yeah, I think last season, AMAD out of the whole squad and the team was the only one who really got you off your seat watching the game. And it just shows what a difference it makes with Mbeumo coming in and Cunha, which I'll touch on shortly. Down that right-hand side, the chemistry that they're building there, but they both work hard. really work hard for the team and each other.
Well, you talk about chemistry. It's like we was critical, and I've been critical for a while. It's like when a player passes a ball, it's like there's no one there, or you're expecting someone to run in that. Well, you've got to highlight. Well, I'm going to highlight the goal at Liverpool. Yes, it was early on, right? But they understood. As soon as AMAD got that ball, and Mbeumo was up off the floor, and he was running, and he was expecting something, but he did not hesitate. And sometimes when players hesitate, people get caught offside. And he put that ball into space, knowing Mbeumo was going to run into that space.
Yeah, it does look like it's one of our strongest positions, especially in attack, down that right-hand side, in my opinion, with AMAD and Mbeumo. Have you seen anything really down our left-hand side, though, at the moment, with the likes of maybe Cunha, Mason Mount there, with the actual wing-back? I know it's been chopping and changing, really, over the last few games in that 10 position on the left side, and in particular, that left wing-back spot as well, with Diallo and Dogu.
I think when you start to change your formation, taking Sesko out of there, bringing Mount in. You've had Dogu, you've had Diallo on the left wing back. It's going to be difficult to get a partnership. But what you do see on that left-hand side, and I think it highlighted it perfectly, how Cunha is improving. And as the game went on against Liverpool, he's improved. He's doing his job. It just needs now someone to settle in there and be there. Now, the question mark is tomorrow. It wasn't brought up today about Diallo and Dogu. I did say that I think something's going on behind the scenes with Dogu. Maybe he doesn't trust him as much, because there's Diallo, left wing back. Will he be there tomorrow? Will Dogu? Listen, we need a settled side there on a left wing back, because we've got it settled now on the right, and Cunha needs a partner. And when that partnership develops, and the other partnership, I think we'll be absolutely flying.
I'm just trying to think back now. You'll probably know out there more than me with a better memory, but at Old Trafford in the last 3 games, has Diallo started all 3 of them games and started in the actual left wing-back position? Because I do remember in the Burnley game here at home, it was actually Diallo who set up Bryan Mbeumo's goal from that left-hand side, ball into the box, and Mbeumo finished.
Well, sometimes I get confused with what team he puts out there. You got to think as well.
He does make a lot of changes as well.
Well,
that does get you rolling a bit.
Right wing back, left wing back. Throw in Mazraoui as well there.
Yeah.
Where does Mazraoui play? Yeah. Does he play when he comes back? Good player, solid player, but he seems to play Mazraoui all over the place. I think he's played in every position in the back and has played on both sides, I think, wing backs, like most of them have. But AMAD, you can't take him out of the position. And that's the main position now for AMAD. That's where he's going to be. And he seems to be thriving because he's got someone, right, who's willing to run and who can score the goals, because there's a danger there now. There's not 2 men marking AMAD when he goes forward, or 2 men marking Mbeumo. They can't, because AMAD and Mbeumo are both dangers. And you'll see tomorrow, and there will be opportunities, because there will be a lot of space when they run into it tomorrow. So I'm confident.
Lorraine says in the chat, we've got to break that Brighton hoodoo tomorrow, and we're coming up with a familiar name in Carlos Baleba tomorrow. We was heavily linked with him in making that transfer to United over the summer, but it didn't happen. Obviously, talks at the start of the season with Herzl mentioning that his head had been turned towards Manchester United, and that was due to then his inconsistent performances at the start. But it's going to be a really tough game against a player like Baleba, because he has got that energy and that tough tackling attitude in that middle of the pitch. So Bruno, I mean, head to head, let's hope he gets on top of him.
I think what it is, it'll be, listen, Baleba is a good player, right, with good players around him who stick to a system. And when people stick to a system and it's tried and tested, we've all seen that, they had a good football inside. I don't think one man stands out in that Brighton side when they get playing football and the passing and they're on the front foot. I think it's just a unit. Yeah. It's a unit, well drilled, and that's what you want. There's no standout star there or anything like that. You've got and there you've got Welbeck, who just waltzes around, turns up, and still does the business. So for me, yeah, people can go on about Baleba. I want him to put in a decent performance because I just want to see what his temperament's like. And if his head has been turned and he can't stand up to it tomorrow and fight for Brighton against Manchester United, a potential transfer in the summer, possibly January, I very much doubt January, then really, has he got it?
Yeah, big test of character for Baleba, and it'd be a big test as well that if we do use the tactics of going long from the goalkeeper, can we win them second and third balls against players like Baleba? Obviously in the number 10s for me tomorrow, it's Cunha and Mbeumo, so they'll have massive parts to play, and it's a game, I think, for the neutral that will be a good game to watch tomorrow.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see if that long ball is used as much. But that's down to Brighton, what tactics they play. Will they try and close the goalkeeper down, passing out from the back? So it just depends on how Brighton see how United have changed with their tactics. They may adapt and they might sit with the low block and then prefer to come out and pass the ball through us. So let's just wait and see. But if we are using that long ball, I have no problems with Le Mans using it. Both feet, absolutely superb. Palm all the way round.
Yeah, Anthony in the chat, we need to win after the Liverpool game. Mr. says from our members club, AMAD definitely looks to be settling in. Looks like we're finally developing some patterns of play on that side. Totally agree on that right-hand side, mate. Looks like where our major threats do also come from. Daz says, I think Brighton got some players out. Can't remember who, though, is it? Oh, was his name Mbeumo?
They were on about 3 players. One's definitely coming back.
Is it Veltman as well, the defender?
But they're on about 3 players coming back there. And I just think it's a game being played. Said it earlier on. I think it's a game being played by both managers. I think you'll see a full-strength Brighton squad, to be honest.
To be honest with Brighton, when I've seen him over a couple of games in recent weeks, like you said before, I don't think it really matters too much who's in and who's out, because they play as a unit. They're very, very well drilled, and Welbeck recently got a brace against Newcastle, coming here back to Old Trafford. He has haunted us in the past, so it is going to be a really, really tough game tomorrow, but one that I expect us to edge and get the 3 points. I'm going 3-2. That's what I went with yesterday, and I'm sticking with it.
I'm sticking with 2-1. And when you talk about players coming into a system, unfortunately, players what have come into the Manchester United system, there hasn't really been a system where players are comfortable with it or they know what they're doing. And some players have just been absolutely bombed out. I remember Fredrickson got absolutely destroyed at Grimsby because he was given no help. And actually, the no help he was given was by Diallo, and he suffered and he was stuck off, and he's not been seen since. So if you've got a system and you're bringing players through and they're comfortable with it like Brighton are, all the best. But if you haven't got that system flowing and you're bringing players in, you can struggle. But United have got a system. And the good thing about it, Amorim says, we adapt. We adapt to change during a game. And that's what you want. And you might have to see that a couple of times playing Brighton tomorrow.
I think the biggest surprise tomorrow would be if it ended 0-0. I mean, you look at Brighton, I think they've only failed to score in 2 of the games out of the last 24 in the Premier League. And I'm just going to go into the chat. Story says, I hate fancy goalkeepers, but Le Mans ticks all my boxes. And it's good just to have a goalkeeper in net, someone you can trust, someone who can do the basics and actually command his box.
Well, that's going to help 100%. Playing Brighton, because he will be a busy goalkeeper to tomorrow. So someone who you can trust, because it's only been 2 games, but you just see a goalkeeper and you know with your own eyes that is a goalkeeper, what's calm, and the players do trust him, and that's what you want. And that is probably crucial going forward for the rest of the season, to be honest.
Stephen says, hopefully get a win tomorrow and a clean sheet as well. You're going with 3-0 United. Mister's back from our members club. He's going 1-1. Can't see Ruben coaching a win. Individually, quality might get us over the line, but to me, a draw is more likely. Like I say, you let us know what your thoughts and opinions are on the game on Saturday. Score predictions as well in that comment section. We're going to wrap it up now, so we will be back with you tomorrow with a match reaction straight after the game with the 3 points. Choo-choo! All aboard that deluded train for the Manchester United win.
All aboard.
You enjoy your Friday, everyone, and we'll see you tomorrow. Much love. Thank you.
Thank you.